The Adventures of Bayou.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Jamie. I'm here with you again. Gonna do another actual video game review because it's been a good while. And so I figured what better way to get back into this than by talking about The Adventures of Bayou Billy. Or, as the game tells you itself,
The Adventures of Bayou.
So yeah guys, The Adventures of Bayou Billy. It is an action platformer, or actually no, it's not even a platformer, but it's an action game full of beat 'em up stages, gunslinging, whip cracking, jeep driving, gator punching. Yeah, that's a legitimate thing that happens in this game. Gator punching. Holy cow, I mean, like, look at the guy on the box cover. See that dude? Looks like that Crocodile Dundee looking dude. That's a manly man right there. Punches crocodiles, probably makes him those signature vests that he's currently wearing. That is a manly man if I've ever seen one. This game was released in Japan in 1989. It was also released here in America in 1989. Got a pretty, not gonna lie, that was a pretty short turnaround for that game. Of only a couple months. Naturally, Power Regions did get the shaft. It wasn't released until 1991, which, as you know, the NES was actually not really that great there. And you know, they had Sega. Sega pretty much owned that entire market, guys. So, guys, that's pretty much it for the history of the game. Let's actually talk about the graphics of the game. How does this game look? So, guys, the graphics themselves are actually pretty alright. They look like typical Konami graphics, which isn't to say they're bad, but they're not entirely great either. The driving stages themselves do look pretty neat, having you know, having the dirt road and whatnot, and really not much else I can say. They're just 8-bit graphics. The characters look like what they're supposed to represent. You even have some Don Johnson looking like motherfucker over here, and yeah, which is actually kind of weird because this takes place in the New Orleans. So yeah, that's that. Really, not much I can say. The graphics look pretty standard fare for a Konami release on the NES. They're nothing too wildly exciting. All the characters look like what they're supposed to look like. The dogs look like dogs, the gators look like gators, the hawks, eagles, falcons, whatever look like birds. All the bad dudes look like bad dudes. And Annabelle, she looks like Annabelle. So guys, with that, let's jump into the next segment, shall we? So guys, it goes without saying, this game only has a couple of songs, and how can I put this? Those songs are actually variations of the Level 1 theme song, and hear me out. With a game that has such a badass soundtrack like this, that's pretty much all you need is just that one theme song and just mix it over 1,000 times, because it is absolutely fantastic, guys. It is a really, really good theme song, guys. You know what? Like, I'm actually gonna let that thing jam out for a little bit, because it is that gosh darn great. So guys, let's let it play for a little bit, shall we? You know. Holy crap, guys. I got a drinking problem. But yeah, that theme song is badass. Guns sound like guns. They have that contra sound when stuff shoots off some stuff. Wow, apparently I can't talk. It does have that contra sound whenever you shoot something that's a weak point for a boss, but it's actually used as a reflective whenever you deflect bullets with your vest, which is apparently something you do in this game. Apparently your character just has to put on a leather vest, bulletproof leather vest, and apparently no other bad guy thinks to shoot him in the leg or in the head or, you know, in the hand or the arms. Because apparently they take grouping very, very seriously, even though he leaves his vest wide open. Really, there's really not much else I can talk about the sounds. They sound like your pretty typical Konami sounds, which isn't a bad thing, because it is actually pretty satisfying to hit stuff and to hit people in this game. That whole voice, this guy over here.
The Adventures of Bayou.
Believe it or not, that was actually added to the North American release of this game. Because in Japan, this game is actually called Mad City. How can I put this? Believe it or not, our American version is wildly harder than the Japanese version. Since I'm going there, guys, I guess I should jump into gameplay. So, how does this game feel? What is it actually like to play this game, guys? This game is really freaking hard, guys. Holy crap. I literally had to resort to cheating. I had to resort to using this goddamn Nintendo Power, guys. I had to go on here, go to page right here, 20, what is that? 24. 24. Oh, I'm sorry, it's page 22. Oops, apparently I don't know how to count, guys. But yeah, I had to go to page 22, learn all the layouts of this game, play this game multiple times at 3 in the morning just to beat it, and record gameplay of me actually beating it. And it's really hard. Alright, so, fair discretion. The game, yes, is incredibly difficult. The whole beat 'em up stages are actually not that bad. They're not that bad themselves. What is difficult, though, are the Jeep stages. The shooting gallery type stages are a-okay. They are at least passable. The difficulty isn't too horribly awful in those stages. But the Jeep stages are atrociously difficult. Gameplay. Bayou Billy himself, he has punch and a kick. He also has a jump attack, which is done by pressing both A and B together. He has weapons that he can pick up. So there's a knife, there's a whip, and a giant stick. There's a boulder in there somewhere too that the big fat guys obviously throw at you, because of course it's gonna be the big fat guys. Using the weapons is very, very satisfying, guys. That giant stick is really satisfying to swing around and just bash on bad dudes. You guys have no idea how satisfying that is. The whip itself is, quite frankly, not gonna lie, it's I guess it's a real good thing this is a Konami game, because when I saw that whip, I was like, oh boy, that's looking real familiar there, Konami. Oh, I see we're taking a little creative inspiration from ourselves, huh? I don't mean to talk here, Konami, but it looks a little familiar. Kind of made me wonder if this started off as an entirely different game. You also get a gun, a handgun, believe it or not. Handguns are very, very useful in this game. They deal a crap ton of damage. Honestly, they still feel a little underpowered, but usually most enemies go down in about 2 to 3 hits with a handgun bullet. You can pick up vest as well as a power-up. The vest actually lessens the amount of damage you're actually inflicted upon you, and it protects you from bullets. On the shoot 'em up stages, though, the gameplay is obviously different, because I mean, it's a shoot 'em up stage. It's a shooting gallery type stage where you shoot bad dudes. So there's really not much else to talk about on that stage. Realize though that if you do run out of bullets, cause you don't have infinite ammunition, if you do run out of ammunition on these stages, you get this screen. Oh god! They straight up murder your ass! Holy shit! That is... yeah. So you can imagine looking at this and seeing that. Holy crap, you literally see your dude die on screen right in front of you. That is mortifying, but that's so cool. I mean, cool in that they got away with it. The same way they got away with putting Annabelle in less clothing in the American version compared to the Japanese version. Yeah. They got away with that in the 80s Nintendo. Good on you, Konami. Good on you. There's also a vest that you can pick up, and this vest actually gives you infinite health for a very limited amount of time. So with the vest though, I did run into this problem a few times in my playthrough, where most games, when you pick up an invincibility item, they have a countdown timer of sorts, whether it's the music speeding up or, you know, like an actual timer on screen. This game does not. So I literally went through parts of the stage without shooting at anything because I was trying to conserve ammunition. And they straight up blasted my ass when the timer ran out. The first time this happened to me, I was completely flabbergasted. Yeah, literally these dudes were firing off shots, and I was laughing maniacally. I was like, oh, I'm invincible. It's like Scarface. It's like that movie Scarface where Tony Montana does all that coke. He does all that coke, and he's doing that shootout. And he's like, haha, I'm invincible now. And then, like that, you get blasted by all these bad dudes all at once. That was pretty horrible, because I was not expecting any of that to happen. Because, as I mentioned, there's no timer. So, the bosses on those stages, because I'm going to save the G stages for a little bit later. So the bosses in these stages are, how can I put this? Okay. You do fight a helicopter a la Rambo 3, which is actually really cool. You do fight a helicopter, which is something I really enjoyed. You do fight a helicopter, as mentioned. You fight pretty much it. There's really nothing memorable about the bosses, with the exception of the last dude, because he's always there to taunt you in between stages, which is actually a pretty cool touch. Taunts you and he laughs at you too. Every time that dude comes up, you just want to punch that fool right in the face. Really do. Punch that fool right in the face, take Annabelle back, give her a big smooch, call it a day. Hey guys, bosses, not really memorable. The only one I really remember is obviously the last dude, and believe it or not, there is a second boss you fight after him. There is a dog trainer as well. That boss fight is actually one of the more memorable boss fights, along with the helicopter fight in the shoot 'em up stage. The Jeep stages don't have any boss fights. I think the Jeep stages themselves are literally boss fights anyway. I think those stages are boss fights in themselves. Maybe it's a metaphor for life being a boss fight. Life is just one big giant boss fight. It's deep and profound. Actually, no, it's not. The programmers, when they were localizing this game, ramped up the difficulty on everything in this game, made all the enemies take more hits, gave them more health, they deal more damage to you. The Jeep stages, believe it or not, have narrow roads compared to in the Japanese release of Mad City. The roads are slightly wider, and this is a big thing. And in the Japanese version of the game, your Jeep has a health gauge. So this may not seem like anything, but if you've ever played this game, your first time through, it is near impossible to get past these stages. Your first time through is near impossible, and then when you do get past it, you're already lubed up well enough as to where this game can bend you over and fuck you right in the ass. With a new Jeep stage, it's even more difficult. Because enemies fire even more bombs at you, and there's even more roadblocks in your way, and you have more cars coming at you. They're grenades, and the machine gun is nice, but they don't really help too often when you can't just auto-spray everything to death. Especially with some of those indestructible roadblocks, or, you know, the poles that you're not supposed to crash into, but because the roads are much more narrow, you're gonna have to... Thanks, Konami. What a classic. So, guys. It's over. That is my last commentary on the Jeep stages. I swear. You complete all the stages. You make it all the way to the final stage. Stage 9, you're there. You read your Nintendo Power. You read right through it. You did all your homework. You've done it. Here you go. Stage 9. Let's actually read what it says in the magazine. Inside the estate waits Gordon with a mysterious guard nearby. It will be the end of a long, hard road. And if you're not ready, it will be a quick end. Annabelle is still counting on you. So wipe the sweat off your brow and roll your sleeves up because this one's not over yet. Really? You couldn't give me any tips on how to beat this guy? You couldn't tell me that I could actually cheese him off by trying to corner him into a small little corner of the stage and trapping him there and hopefully kicking him, or if I still have the whip from the previous stage, whipping him to death? You couldn't have told me that? Couldn't have told me that? You couldn't have told me that the mysterious guard nearby is actually 2 guards that literally slash your health? They goddamn suplex you. They literally hold you and wail on you. Guys. Oh, guys. So, it may sound like I'm really hating on this game, but I actually really, really enjoy this game. This game is really difficult, though. So, having the final boss be as difficult as he is, having him avoid kicks and attacks, drags out this fight needlessly long, as to where it comes to a point where you get so absolutely fed up where you literally just start trading blows with him in an attempt to beat him as quickly as possible. Oh man, guys, I don't think you guys really understand. The final boss, the real final boss, oh man, it's difficult. It's really difficult. It is an absolutely difficult final boss. These characters do not play around. They throw you, they suplex you, they do everything. So guys, after all is said and done, you kill the big final boss, you kill the 2 guards who are the real final bosses, and then you rescue Annabelle. You actually have a really, really cute ending with them, exchanging words, and then finishing the game off with a kiss between each other, which is actually really cool. The characters' names scroll by. You learn all the bad dudes' names with no pictures, so you kind of have to figure out who's who on there. But that doesn't really matter. Then all the names of everyone that worked on the game come up, and that's the end of the game. With that, guys, what are my actual thoughts on this game? So, as I mentioned earlier, the Japanese version came out first. The Japanese version is actually easier than the American version we end up getting here in the States, which is actually kind of a bummer because this game is very, very difficult. Then again, I can understand why that's the case. This was released back in the 80s during the heyday of video rentals. So if anything, we have Blockbuster and Movie Time Video, or whatever place you want to go rent your movies at or games at, for it being so goddamn difficult. Other than that though, if this game were maybe at its Japanese difficulty, it would be a lot... This game would be a lot higher on my list of games that I like. Because I do like this game. Would I recommend it though? That's something that's a little bit more difficult to do. So I do like this game personally. It's a little hard to recommend this game. The controls themselves are actually pretty decent. The character himself, yeah, at times he moves a little stiff, but it's really not much of a detractor. And the enemies do swarm on you. They really do swarm on you, and that is pretty cheap AI. Other than that though, this game is pretty alright for quick pick up and play. Once you get really good at this game, you can pretty much beat it in about 30 minutes. About 45 minutes actually, to about like maybe like an hour and 20 once you start getting really good at this game. I don't think you would want to though, considering how difficult this game is though. If you're a fan of beat 'em ups, if you're a fan of games that try and experiment, I would recommend this game to you. Just don't expect to beat it on your first try. This is a game that will take quite a bit of time for you to beat. Unless you master the Jeep stages in like 20 minutes, then good on you. I'm not that great at driving games anyway. Because I really struggled at Outrun, and I love Outrun. So guys, this has been Jimmy. Thanks for tuning in, guys. And remember, guys, to stay absolutely radical, alright, guys?